Hi everyone. So as the title says, Smile Direct Club has just expanded to Hong Kong. They started in the US in 2014, went to UK, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland. What's the trend of these countries? They are Western countries and they have really good healthcare. So the thing is, when a country has good healthcare, people have disposable income. There is going to be a bit more focus on your teeth, dental. You imagine a country that most people don't have much disposable income. They're not going to worry so much how straight their teeth is. Um, like you want to invest into countries where people do actually have a bit of concern over their looks, how straight their teeth are, and they do want to consider braces. It's no point selling to a country where, you know, people don't have enough to eat. They can't, the last thing they're worried about is how straight the teeth is. It makes sense how they've chosen their current countries. What's interesting is they've considered Hong Kong now, so it's a question of have these guys, are they considering moving into Asia now and then expanding to many more Asian countries? So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I think they should do quite well because the one thing about Hong Kong's population is it is centered around, like a very small land area. So the network of dentists would be easier to get. Also, the marketing, you don't have to like market in too many like different areas since everything is all concentrated in one area. So it could also just be like a test market. They've chosen something that's not too expanded. The outreach isn't like too much. So I can see why they've gone to Hong Kong, but I could also see why they might consider Singapore, Japan, Korea, those places. There is a lot of emphasis. They've developed to a stage where people do have a lot of disposable income. They will consider spending money on something like braces or premium toothpaste, cleaners, toothbrushes. You have to remember Smile Direct. They're selling kind of premium products, and at the same time, they're also selling braces. Those you couldn't say they're like like more the treatment. Like they're selling aligners that you put on your teeth. You wear them for something like 10 to 14 hours a day, and it should help straighten your teeth, and they can sell it to you and help straighten your teeth for 60% less cost, which is a great selling point, especially when you've got, like if you think about most people in these countries, that there is a majority that will consider using braces to straighten their teeth. The figures are actually quite interesting. I was looking at the figures, and this company here that supplies some of the aligners to Smile Direct Club, their estimates were like 65 to 70% of people actually need to straighten their teeth. While Smile Direct Club actually sees 80%, 85% of people could benefit from straightening their teeth. So it's an interesting difference in figures. Um, and at the same time, while these guys are the supplier of aligners, they were also going to be a competitor to Smile Direct Club. But they have signed a non-compete when they offered to supply them. Originally, these guys had a patent on the aligner, but that expired in 2017. So now Smile Direct Club actually makes most of them, and they do source some from Align Technology. Align is a massive company, 22.5 billion in market value, while Smile Direct Club's about 4 billion. So you can see, there's a big size difference. First, Align Technology. I think 1 or 2 years ago, they opened 12 shops to actually sell their aligners. Smile Direct Club was not happy, took these guys to court, said you had a non-compete, you couldn't do this. At the time, the non-compete was for 2020. And then the court found it in Smile Direct Club's favour. Align Technology had to close all 12 stores And also the court just, as a penalty, extended this non-compete to 2022. So from this year on, they've got 2 more years. So if I was Smile Direct Club, I would be expanding to as many countries as possible, really trying to build this brand, because before a company like Align Technology starts to come after you. So they've got 2 years to do what they can, expand to as many countries. Then Align Technology is going to come after them. So it should be quite interesting. Until then, I wouldn't worry too much. Align Technology is going to be playing a bit of catch up, so I wouldn't be too worried for the next 2 years. I would say focus on the growth, focus on, if they're able to expand to other markets, can they get their products out there? Are they getting good growth? Are they, have they got enough money to keep them going? They have currently about 500 million in the bank to keep them going. So hopefully these guys can get to a stage where they don't have to rely on so much capital raising. So once they don't have to rely on capital raising and they get enough sales, they can fund themselves and they can just build on capacity, build on the current situation. So it's good that they've expanded to Hong Kong now. It's nice to see them test other markets. And given that they only have about a 2 year advantage, they should make the most of it. So something like expanding, it's also going to be good for the growth, but of course it's going to cost a bit of extra money. It'll be interesting how the Walmart deal goes. Some people have posted pictures of the Walmart kind of shelf that has the Smile Direct Club products, and by the looks of it, they're selling really well. Of course, when you're first entering a market, everyone's always going to want to try the product. I'd say if those shelves are still being emptied within after another few months, that means you've got people that are actually really interested in the product, and if you can have repeat buyers, that's all you need, and this company is going to do really well. So I thought it was quite interesting seeing the countries that they were in, and in the expansion to Hong Kong, and then also looking at their competitor, who isn't a competitor yet because of the non-compete. And then, of course we can see what happens in 2 years, though you may not own the stock in 2 years, so you may not care at all. So it's, when considering companies, always consider what countries they're in, how well they're performing in those countries. Of course, most of these ones here are actually quite new. So we'll have to, in the next probably 6 to 12 months, we'll actually see how traction's going in these countries. I'd imagine they'd go well, because the healthcare system is really good, except they don't subsidise dental care, of course. So by offering 60% cheaper, I imagine there's going to be a lot of sign-ups. It's just a matter of, can these guys deliver on a good quality product, even though they're not there to, I imagine they want to send someone there and make sure the quality's up to standard. But at the end of the day, if you've got professionals there, it should be well managed. If it's working in the US, since 2014, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, those countries have so much similarities that I imagine it working quite well. Oh, actually, now that I look at the list, I'm actually missing one country as well. So also add Canada on there. Don't mean to miss that one out. So there we go. That's a complete list, and a bit about the previous history between Align Technology and Smile Direct Club. Hope that was interesting. Hope you learnt something. Until next time, we'll see you now.